GM Pod.
Washington State fires Athletic Director Anne McCoy, and a national search is now underway for the next athletic director. This comes just a week after WSU President Betsy Cantwell stated that Washington State University's football NIL is at the bottom of the new Pac-12 as far as, money that's coming in right now. So this kind of indicates a shift in WSU's focus on, and Dylan, we'll get your insights into Anne McCoy and her time here so far, but really the emphasis and the spotlight on NIL and where their focus is going to be heading moving forward. And it sounds like they're going to be going after an AD that is going to be heavily focused on partnerships with corporate sponsors, with obviously alumni still, but they have to get the NIL figured out quickly. It's surprising because Anne McCoy has been at Washington State University since 2001, 24 years with the university, various different roles across her time. She became the full AD in June 2024. And like I mentioned, now she's out. And what I was saying to Dylan off air beforehand is that it's interesting that she was fired. She wasn't just moved into another role. So I'm curious, what exactly happened there. Dylan, what are your initial reactions?
Yeah, I mean, Anne should be celebrated in a way on her way out. 20 years, 3 different athletic directors, I think 2 or 3 different presidents. Cantwell, obviously the president that canned her. But I mean, for the position Anne was put in, it was tough navigation because at the time when she entered the AD role, there was still a lot of unknowns with the Pac-12. But I mean, there was no conference, no schedule, no TV revenue. But now we have all that. Pac-12 media deal announced yesterday. We've got a coach. And Anne should be celebrated for finding Jimmy Rogers. Let's not get that twisted. I think that's probably the one thing we'll look back on her short tenure is Jimmy Rogers. Absolutely killed it there. We found a head coach. But NIL's been going on for 5 years and we are still at the bottom of the barrel. And there's been a lot of push over the last week. Let's not get that twisted. Over 100 new folks now into the Cougar Collective. One of the recent Coug fan articles stated that there's been 3 heavy 6-figure donations that have come in that are going to go between NIL as well as the coaches, for lack of a better term, elevation fund. So going to be interesting to see what this job search is going to look like. Obviously, one name that we've seen, we'll get into names here. Brian Blair, currently at Toledo, worked at WSU under Pat Chun for years and has been a guy that can find money. And that's where we're really at in this situation is where can we find money? Cantwell said, we're missing $20 million at Cougs First in Spokane. I mean, you don't say those type of comments and something doesn't happen, right? I mean, the writing was on the wall.
No one says publicly, hey, we're last at this, or like we're not doing well.
Nobody said that yet.
And she's like flat out, we suck right now. We need to get this figured out ASAP. And then just a few days later, obviously, athletic director is Can. And I'm curious moving forward. It's like, now the university is able to legally get involved directly with collectives and with fundraising and all of these things. I feel like, and what the comments have said from you guys so far on all of this is that a ton of people don't even know about the Cougar Collective, about NIL, about what's going on. They get the phone calls because they're asking for donations.
That's also part of the reason the school is not wanted to hold hands with the Cougar Collective either. So there's issues with the collective not able to fully steamroll what they want to put out, from an ad standpoint or what they want to do with the collective. So obviously something's got to be done there to help that out.
And it's going to be someone that has a background in fundraising and all this stuff so that they can figure out, okay, like there's the Washington State fund that you can donate to, which also is NIL, but then there's also the Cougar Collective. So I think getting a uniformed message together behind the university and all of the programs of like where to send your funds to, getting it out to all of the alumni base. Because as we've described, over 250,000 current living alumni. And you break down the numbers, we need $20 million. That's something like 88,000 people joining the 1890 club. But obviously there's going to be bigger donors across the board. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go. But it sounds like there'll be potential Power 4 conference ADs or even professional sports ADs that they're going to be looking at. So it'll be curious to see.
I don't know about bringing in a Power 4 AD to WSU. I think you're going to be looking at somebody that's looking to take the next step from a deputy AD role or an up and coming person. Cause it's like kind of the same thing with folks, making a parallel with Coach Eck in New Mexico and going to Oregon State. I love the move. I think it would be fantastic, but I think it's too much of a lateral move for Eck to make. He's already turned around New Mexico. I don't know how he doesn't get the Wisconsin job when it doesn't open up. If
it obviously makes more sense for someone from a small university to come take this step instead of someone coming down, for sure.
But going one last thing I want to say, it's like, one thing I saw on Twitter is like loyalty and kindness only gets you so far in this business, right? Like we need a cold-blooded killer sitting in the AD seat. And for what everybody said about Pat Chun, we'll see where life takes us. One of his famous quotes, you took him to UW. He found money. He was able to raise money. Like he was a good AD. We need somebody along those lines.
And Pat Chun will not be finding his way back home to the Blues.
and the other thing too, it's like you're sitting behind 3-6 Texas State in the Sun Belt and NIL, Utah State and other schools. That's just unacceptable to be considered in this next round of realignment. NIL's got to be figured out, and when you take a look at next season, there's no real clear cut front runner for the Pac-12. Who is that team? Boise State's looked pretty undisciplined this year. They don't look like the same team without Ashton Genty running through everybody's front seven. So it's wide open in my opinion.
For sure. Yeah. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below on which direction that they might be going with AD, why this move might have happened. Yeah.
And one other thing too, like the safety net for all the coaches are gone. David Riley, a couple others, like the AD that brought in the basketball coach and the football coach is gone. And one thing that was said is that Cantwell has sat next to Coach Rogers on a few flights across the country. I know the Ole Miss flight.
Every away trip.
Every trip. So that's where the greasing of the wheels started, because obviously Coach Rogers was brought in from Anne McCoy, but Cantwell, she stated it. She says, we know we have a good head coach. So she started greasing the wheels. She's fully behind Coach Rogers and what this staff is doing. So that was another interesting aspect in a Coug Fan article that I took, was like, hey, she's sitting next to Coach Rogers every trip. This plan started months ago.
And she mentioned that current athletes are willing to take lower NIL deals to stay with Jimmy Rogers and to play for him. And we just can't not give him the resources.
Max Balloon might be one of those. He's already stated he's coming back. And you know what? For what Anne McCoy was making, she's making $233,000 a year. The AD at Eastern Washington is making $220,000. That if that doesn't tell you all you need to know, I don't know what does.
Separately, some new news is that
Devin Ellison. What? Why are we talking about Devin Ellison? Has he been on the field in the last 7 weeks? No.
Separately, USA Network is now joining the Pac-12. They're teaming up on a 5-year media rights deal. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this now completes the media rights deal for the Pac-12 for essentially the next 5 years. And there's no current details on what the revenue split is going to be at this point, but all of the, at least football games, have been figured out as far as where the networks are going to be, which networks are going to be hosting how many games. And it's going to be through Pac-12 Network Enterprises. So Pac-12 Network is going to be actually recording, doing all the broadcasting, and then it's going to be hosted across these different networks.
AKA controlling the narrative with your own production company. No more FS2 ESPN Plus bullshit where announcers aren't even at the field. You know, the infamous Boise State game where Petros and was giving us shit saying, I don't know those guys. We found it on the couch. He wasn't even in Boise. He was at the Fox
Seriously?
Studios in Southern California. They weren't even on. They were not there.
That's insane.
So,
that's insane to me.
I can't, and you don't watch as many basketball broadcasts as I do, Connor, and the ESPN Plus broadcast. I'm sure folks watching it right now. It's just horrible. I mean, I guess one of the surprising factors, a lot of people are saying, oh, no ESPN, no Fox. Well, that's no ESPN Plus. I mean, basically you're kicked to the curb with ESPN Plus, ESPNU, maybe get a couple ESPN2 games. But I mean, all of these channels, with the exception of the CBS Sports Network, which is the only premium channel out of the 4, are on every single cable package in the United States. CW, the USA, CBS. So I like it. I think it's a home run. We'll see what these numbers look like. I've seen some people saying, hey, maybe CBS is telling the Pac-12 to hold off on their numbers until the Mountain West Conference figures out their stuff. The hope is it's at least $10 million a year. You got to think it's somewhere around there. I mean, the Big East basketball, they're making $6 million a year per school for basketball only.
And we'll keep you posted once the full details of the revenue share comes out. And as Betsy has stated, as these contracts have stated, that 2030, 2031 window is going to be another frenzy of chaos, to where there's going to be potentially another big realignment across college athletics. And Betsy Cantwell stated that she doesn't anticipate it to be as big of a mix-up as it has been this last go around, but it very well could be. So things are gonna shift much more in the next decade. But really, these deals are through the next 5 years. And just to clarify, football will now have 22 games on USA Sports, 13 on the CW, as many as 10 on CBS Sports Network, and at least 3 regular season games on CBS. The Pac-12 football championship game will also air on CBS. This is from a KookFan.com article. Make sure to check out KookFan.com, subscribe there for all things WSU athletics. Then men's basketball media rights are roughly 70% settled, with 50 games and most of the Pac-12 tournament on USA, 35 games on the CW, a max of 17 on CBS Sports Network, and at least 3 on CBS and Paramount Plus. And then a bulk of the women's basketball are yet to be determined, but the CW will broadcast 15 regular season games. USA will carry 5 to 10 regular season games, as well as its semifinals and championship game of the league's tournament. Do you have a preference of which network is your favorite?
Obviously CBS. There's been some issues with the CW broadcasts over the past couple of years. I'm not going to lie about it. It hasn't been perfect, but it's not awful either. And, when you kind of take a look, one other aspect before I jump into viewership between the CW and ESPNU broadcasts, kicking times. We're going to know the kicking times for the entire schedule. And just from a fan aspect, in terms of traveling and trying to figure out, hey, if you want to go out this week or you want to go see the Cougs play out here, you don't have, sometimes it's 6 to 12 days where that kickoff is announced. The one thing that I guess is troublesome about that is that I guess it can take some dollar value away from your media rights, simply because they don't, you can't flex something, with the kickoffs being announced. So you're taking a guess on probably Boise State, Washington State, San Diego State, and I might even put Fresno State into the discussion for the season they're having under Entz year 1, and just the amount, they have a good fan base. When Fresno State's good, they pack that place out. So you're going to be guessing what, you're probably going to put WSU and Boise State as a premier game, but there's a chance that they could be 7-4 and 6-5, as opposed to flexing your best game at the end of the year. If Oregon State's 11-1 and SDSU's 10-2, you can flex it. So that's where I guess some of the hiccups can come from. the media rights deal on, having those set kickoff times.
And there's no Fox or ESPN component to the media rights deal at all.
None. And, that's the other aspect. People, I guess, your fair weather Pac-12 fans, oh, we're not on ESPN, we're not on Fox. Well, we're on every single channel on a basic cable package. I mean, the whole idea is for the country to watch us, right? And that's what USA and CBS and the CW bring. And, looking at some TV ratings, WSU and San Diego State on the CW, 541,000. The following week, WSU played at North Texas on ESPNU. I want you to give your best guess on how many people watched.
Watch which one?
Watch the UNT game, the 59-10 loss on ESPNU. So CW, our game against SDSU the week prior, 541,000 tuned in. How many do you think tuned in on the ESPNU North Texas broadcast?
300,000?
Yeah. No. Try 65,000.
Jeez. Yeah.
Another one, like, let's take a look at WSU versus Toledo. Your run-of-the-mill MAC program, 311,000. Guess how much ESPN2, for two of the Americans' best programs currently, both still kind of in the mix for the college football playoff spot, South Florida and Memphis. What do you think they sat at?
Would Memphis be getting 300 to 500?
You'd think so, right? 392,000 people watch that on ESPN2. And those are your two premier programs in the American. And WSU is netting over 300,000 against Toledo. I rest my case.
Yeah. Well, and for those of you out there that are, people that are saying, hey, don't talk negative, don't do all this stuff, we're as optimistic as we possibly can. We're just bringing
go orange, go big blue, fight BSU. Josh Curran, it's good to see you. Good to see you, Josh. How you feeling about the new media rights? Let us know.
Also, Dylan loves your guys' scoreboard and lights, and he's also pumped that Washington State is now getting the same. But I've seen comments of like, how can I donate to the collective? Like, I've given them my tuition money already, or you guys are too negative talking. It's like you have to call a spade sometimes. And obviously, the president of the university just came out and said that we were struggling with NIL. It's like we got to do what we can to try to push people to join in the ways that we can and that we know how to. Obviously, people clearly don't know that the Cougar Collective is a thing, or that NIL is a big part of it, and where and how to help. And shout out to the Cougar Collective reposting the stream. Make sure to scan this QR code. If you're on a phone, you could screenshot this. When it's in your photo album, you just tap on the QR code. It'll go to the website. Or if you're watching on a computer or TV, just scan this QR code. It goes directly to the Give Butter website, which is where they are pushing people to. Enter referred by Cougs on the Couch when it states referred by, and join the 1890 Club at the very least. $18.90 a month. That's $277 a year. Let's keep the players in Pullman. Let's become the powerhouse of the new Pac-12.
Question for Josh. What are your thoughts on Bronco Blaemeyer? He has been on an absolute crash out over the last 12 hours on X, simply because there's no ESPN and no Fox. He's losing his mind and just getting absolutely blasted in his mentions. Snake River rivalry going to be great. Cannot wait. We'll see whether it's a home or road game next season between the Snake River rivalry. Hopefully it's in Pullman. But I do love getting out of Boise, man. Start your night out at Cactus, a little $2 well shot. Get that night going. Boise's a great town. Ann knows nothing about sports. Nepo hire gone wrong. Woo! From the top rope, Jonathan Mitchell. I'm not. We're not here to blast Anne McCoy. Our president made the right decision. Obviously, if Ann had been in the athletic department for the last 20 years on the administrative side of things as the deputy of AD, she's obviously doing something right. But at the end of the day, money talks.
Separate note, did you see WSU secured New Orleans athlete John Johnson? Seems like he's something of a quarterback out of Louisiana.
Yeah, he's more of like he plays defensive back. I mean, if we're gonna go to college football 26 recruiting, it's gonna be that all caps ATH, the
Right.
athlete.
Athlete. Yep.
But another thing is that they got his teammate, the running back, a couple days prior, and they're working on another 3-star on that team. I mean, he's a corner. They're trying to, they're hoping the two that have already committed, the running back as well as the dual quarterback, cornerback, cornerback. Say that 3 times fast. You can hopefully get the 3 out of Louisiana. I mean, this is almost going back to kind of Mike Leach days where he was able to pull out of Florida all the time. Your Isaiah Mac Johnsons, the Tavares Martins of the world, Keith Harringtons. I mean, we had a lot of success under the Leach years. Shout out Key West. But give me all the NOLA athletes we can get here at WSU. I think just fantastic. Just slightly getting into recruiting here.
So this is from the Coug Fan article. John Johnson is the quarterback of the 10-0 Edna Carr team that is number 1 in Louisiana, number 10 in the country. Last year he's the quarterback. Last year he guided the Cougars to a 14-0 record and a state title. But apparently it's actually wide receiver where Washington State wants Johnson rather than quarterback. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, anyone that's watching, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Dylan, any other thoughts?
Yeah, just kind of going back to just like us, the Pac-12 being able to produce the games. Like, I can't tell you how important that is just from a narrative standpoint. Like, we control that. We control our own airwaves. So, the other aspect too is, NBC is USA's NBC Peacock. So we're going to be able to find any game at any time. And, looking at the Olympic sports side of things, there's still stuff to be discussed there, whether they're going to be put on ESPN Plus or if it's just going to be free. Those were a couple things that John Canzano mentioned in one of his recent articles. He's been on top of things. So, big day. A lot of momentum here in the Cougar Collective. Really excited for this. I mean, gosh darn, when we take a look at Facebook groups, that stupid ass diehard Cougs group, there's 35,000 people in that group. Imagine if just a third signed up to be in the Cougar Collective. We'd be rolling. So I'm excited. I'm going to head out to Tap Room in San Diego this weekend. That is where the Coug meetup is. If you're down in San Diego or in SoCal, want to watch the Cougs against Louisiana Tech this week, 3 p.m. down in Pacific Beach. I'm going to be down there speaking for the Cougar Collective. Hope is everybody in that room signs up. So I will be down there doing my best volunteer work for the collective. So if you have not join, please join the 1890 Club. Do what you can. I've seen folks say, well, gosh, is $20 really going to matter? Well, yeah, it is when we continue to build this base. I mean, getting to a 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 base in the Cougar Collective and higher is what we need. There's no ceiling with this base in the collective. It just needs to continue to grow.
The slogan is mighty by many for a reason. One donation of $20, it feels insignificant, but when we all band together and support the university that we love to watch and to support, that's when it really takes over. So,
and tonight, before we close things out, we've got the Apple Cup. Washington, the team out west, comes out to Pullman tonight. This is going to be an interesting game. I don't have hope that they're going to stay in this one tonight. I think a lot is going to be known about this team after we see them play this evening in the Apple Cup. Again, like the issues that I have is just like, I don't know who our guy is. Like when the shot clock is breaking down, who is the guy that's going to go and get you a bucket? I just don't think we have him. So we'll see what the turnover bug looks like tonight. 16 last time out in their win over St. Thomas. Interested to see how Adria Rodriguez looks tonight too. He was much more aggressive against St. Thomas, looked like a point guard, hit a 3-pointer as well. So if he can just start to knock a few down, just so that the defense has to somewhat pay attention to him out here and not pack the inside. He's going to have to drive and attack and set up other players. And, hey, if Tomas can bury another 4 or 5 3-pointers tonight, hey, they might have a shot. But excited to see what the turnout looks. Friday night game against UW, football game the following day. Better see some students in attendance.
Louisiana Tech at Washington State tomorrow. The start time is 7:00 Pacific. The line is now to Washington State by 8.5.
8.5.
Got an extra point of help there.
Yeah, you lost.
Not help, but they're favoring us by another point. Maybe but
you're such a bad gambler, you don't know how. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm going the wrong way. Have a great time if you're going to.
Louisiana Tech 3-21 on the road.
Yeah,
8.5. Maybe put it in a teaser.
Have a great time if you're going to be in Pullman. If you're at a watch party elsewhere, tell everybody to join the collective. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.